Who knew, who could have guessed that rapper Nicki Minaj would turn out to be one of the bravest people in the United States? A couple of days ago, we would guess, most people who watch the show may not have heard of Nicki Minaj. And then she tweeted about the COVID vaccine. She didn't come out against the vaccines. She merely said that as an adult and an American, she should decide whether or not to take the vaccine. Pray about it, she said. Don't be bullied. Things blew up from there. No praying about it. You must submit to being bullied. Those are the new rules. Nicki Minaj wasn't aware of that, and she resisted, and she's still resisting. It's a long and interesting story. There's implications for all of us, and Trace Gallagher has agreed tonight to frame it for us, to set it up, to tell us what's going on. And here he is. Hey, Trace.
Hey, Tucker. The controversy stems from Nicki Minaj telling her fans she would only get the COVID vaccine once she did enough research, and she recommended her fans do the same. And here's the tweet most people focused on, quoting here, "My cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called off the wedding. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied." Well, Tucker then talked about that tweet last night, and today Nicki Minaj retweeted this clip. Watch.
It's Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend's testicles who are swollen from taking the vax. That's the claim. But it's not anything to do with the physical effect of the vaccine that makes our political class mad. It's the last part of Nicki Minaj's tweet that enrages them. The part where she says you should pray on it, make the decision yourself like a free human being, and, quote, don't be bullied. So our media and public health officials didn't like this because they make their livings bullying people. So they couldn't let it stand.
Of course, the haters came out of the woodwork attacking Minaj, Tucker, and this show. Minaj was also criticized by MSNBC's Joy Reid. Watch that.
You have 22 million followers on Twitter. For you to use your platform to encourage our community to not protect themselves and save their lives, my God, sister, you could do better than that.
Minaj responded to Reid saying, quote, "This is what happens when you're so thirsty to down another black woman by the request of the white man that you didn't bother to read all of my tweets." Minaj went on to say she never told anyone not to get the shot, just to learn more about it. And she's right. She told her fans to wear a mask and to get the shot if they had to for work. But now she says she's in Twitter jail, writing in part, quoting again, "I'm in Twitter jail, y'all. They didn't like what I was saying over there on that block. Asking questions is okay. I like being effing dumb." Then boom, can't tweet. She also went on Instagram Live. Look.
People will turn their back on you, not agreeing. But people will isolate you if you simply speak and ask a question. Y'all don't see what the is happening? And I'm seeing black women on Twitter, black women I follow, acting like this is funny. No, I ain't gonna lie, I had a lot of fun yesterday and a lot of laughs. But black women, are y'all forgetting there was a time not too long ago where you couldn't even make eye contact with people? And you're okay with what's happening? We're no longer even allowed to voice our opinions or to ask questions. Now here's what's interesting. What's interesting is so many of your favorite artists feel this way, but they're afraid to speak up. And I can't blame them. Look at what they just did. I will never use Twitter again.
Finally, we should note that Twitter is denying Nicki Minaj was suspended. Tucker.
Trace Gallagher, thanks so much. So here's the point that she's making. Probably a lot of things Nicki Minaj says that you may not agree with. You may not like her music. But the 2 points she's making are worth reiterating. You can't allow people to force you to take drugs that you don't want or that you don't need. It's up to you what drugs you take, period. And if you allow people to force you to take drugs you don't want, you're done. They own you. You're no longer free, period. And the second point that she's made quite a bit today is that you have a constitutional right, a moral right, a God-given right to ask simple questions and expect answers, like you're an adult speaking to a fellow adult. And if you forfeit that right, you are no longer adult, you're no longer free, you're no longer a citizen, you're something much less than that. It's not complicated. Might be nice to have a few United States senators who are willing to say something like that and then stick to it. So it's left to Nicki Minaj to say it. Lara Logan joins us now. She's the host of Lara Logan Has No Agenda on Fox Nation. We're happy to have her. Lara, thanks so much for coming on. So I never imagined we'd be opening the show with a segment about Nicki Minaj. And I don't think it's actually about politics. The Democratic Party hates this because it disempowers them and they think they own Nicki Minaj and whatever. Leaving that aside, she's making much deeper points about what we're allowed to do in the United States. And we're allowed to decide what medicine we take, are we not? We're allowed to ask questions about the effects of that medicine, are we not? Why are the rest of us relinquishing those rights without a fight?
Well, it's called surrender, Tucker. What's happened to this country is that people have surrendered to this because they feel powerless. And if you look throughout history, there are Marxist takeovers and Marxist doctrine, and even the Nazis, right? They know this playbook. If you take over all these institutions and people have the impression that, you know, nobody agrees and nobody's willing to stand up, then they submit even further. And the only form of victory that can't be won, right, that it can't be taken from you is the one that you give, which is surrender. And you know, if you accept defeat and you lose the will to fight, then they don't even have to fight that battle. And that's where we are now. They've made the price of standing up to them so high that nobody's willing to do it. Except now people are seeing, wait a minute, it's too many subjects, whether it's the southern border or it's the vaccine, right? Or it's the way they handled COVID or, you know, 4 million other things, Afghanistan. People on the left and on the right recognize these tactics. They're not new anymore. We know all about this now. And people are saying it's not going to work on me. You know, I just spoke to James O'Keefe at Project Veritas, and he was telling me that they're getting thousands of emails, whether it's Marines who are, you know, on active duty, who have been forced to take the vaccine or being fired or put on leave because they won't take it, whether it's critical race theory, parents all across this country, Hispanic parents, black parents, white parents, what does it matter? You know, why do we even categorize people that way? Who are saying no more, they've had enough. And this is really the moment for people to unite, because what we're seeing is that these issues were never about left and right. They're about right and wrong and good and evil. And there's nothing more threatening to them than saying you're going to pray for something. What does that tell you?
It's totally true. This isn't even about vaccines or COVID.
No.
It's about your dignity.
No.
And if they can force you to violate your own conscience, to put something in your body you don't want, you are done. You have no more dignity. They control you. And that's why they're so insistent on doing it. Lara Logan, I appreciate your coming on.
All of it is about control. All of it.
Yes, it is.
You're right.
Thanks.
Yeah, everything.